Want to know what's going on in our community? Thanks for joining us on Consider the Source, where we will highlight the biggest stories from this week and hear more from more reporters bringing you the coverage. Remember, the Source is online all the time, and you can find us at stthomassource.com, stcroixsource.com, and stjohnsource.com. I'm your host, Adisha Penn. Along with the news, we were excited to take a little field trip this week to Crown Bay, where we learned more about the Tropical Bliss Spa from owner Emeka Willis. But first, let's get to the headlines. For all practical purposes, the legislative proposal to hold a sixth constitutional convention next year is dead, having been allowed to languish in committee until it's too late to implement. The bill would have called for the election of 15 delegates to the convention during this November's general election. And Supervisor of Elections Carolyn Fox has said that the system would need a minimum of 4 months to certify candidates and prepare ballots. Speaking to the Source this week, however, Senator Genevieve Whitaker, who signed on as a co-sponsor, said she has an extensive amendment that would make several changes to the bill, including adjusting dates to accommodate the delay in its implementation. The territory currently operates under the Revised Organic Act of 1954, a document formulated by the U.S. Congress as the blueprint for the territory's governmental structure. In 1976, Congress authorized the Virgin Islands to replace that document with a locally drafted territorial constitution, and over the ensuing 46 years, residents have made 5 attempts to do so. Once a territory has its own constitution, it also has the right to amend it, while only Congress can amend the Organic Act. Given that, and the difficulty past efforts have had on reaching a consensus, there have been suggestions that the territory moves to adopt the Organic Act as its constitution, so at least it will have a starting point in a document that it can amend. In a non-binding referendum that was included in the 2020 election, a majority of voters who answered the question favored that approach. Now, the bill as it reads directs the next convention to use, revise, modify, substitute, or delete parts of the Revised Organic Act of 1954. But Whitaker has contended that the legislature does not have the authority to direct the path that convention delegates will take. Her amendment would delete this section and add language spelling out a series of items that federal officials have already said must be in the Constitution, including a Bill of Rights and a recognition of U.S. sovereignty. Despite the referendum, Whitaker said public hearings are still necessary, and 2 are proposed in the amendment, along with an increase in the anticipated cost of the convention and of the educational campaign that would follow. Several dates in the original bill are not yet updated in the draft amendment, including the date on which the convention would actually begin. But the intent is apparently to make that in January of 2024, since a special election to choose delegates would take place in November 2023. Stay tuned for more news and this in the weeks ahead. The long-running legal battle between the VI government and the Epstein estate continued Friday, with attorneys for the co-executors countering the Justice Department's response to their response to the government's emergency motion to lift a stay of proceedings in the case. That was a mouthful. But the stay was ordered by the court so that the parties could engage in mediation. But those efforts failed, and on July 22nd, Attorney General Denise George filed an emergency motion in VI Superior Court seeking to lift the stay and allow discovery in the case. The U.S. Virgin Islands sued the estate in January 2020, alleging that Jeffrey Epstein engaged in a civil conspiracy involving human trafficking, forced labor, and sexual servitude in the U.S. VI. At the time, George said the government would seek punitive damages worth $577 million. At issue is the defendant's motion of March 2020, asking the court to vacate criminal activity liens the government placed on Epstein's estate so funds can be accessed to administer the estate. At the center of George's emergency motion is the Epstein-created 2013 Butterfly Trust, through which she alleges the estate's co-executors transferred $13 million to 3 newly created trusts from which they stood to benefit and, by doing so, diverted money from the estate. Georgia's emergency motion also alleges that the co-executors were involved in defrauding the VI government of $80.5 million in unearned tax benefits through Epstein's Southern Trust Company, an EDC beneficiary, and that they approved, enabled, and justified millions of dollars in payments that fueled the Epstein Enterprises sex trafficking. The estate has argued back, denying the claims as false and in violation of mediation confidentiality, as it was agreed upon with the government a year ago that the defendants are prepared to make a substantial payment in connection with a settlement within days of execution of a settlement agreement. The defendants, in their reply, invited the court to speak with the mediator for a more complete debriefing of the mediation effort and the remaining issues, or, alternatively, to discuss the mediation at a hearing already scheduled for October 4th. Also in court this week, the U.S. Attorney's Office is seeking a sentence of 30 to 40 years in prison for John Jackson, the one-time Olympic boxer found guilty of multiple sex crimes against minors at his jury trial in April in VI District Court. Jackson was convicted on April 22nd of production of child pornography, 3 counts of transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, first-degree rape, and second-degree aggravated rape. Held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Puerto Rico since his arrest in February 2019, Jackson is scheduled to be sentenced on August 24th. A status hearing is set for Wednesday. In her sentencing memorandum filed Monday, U.S. Attorney Delia Smith laid out the case for the proposed sentence under federal guidelines, detailing Jackson's predatory behavior, lack of remorse, and attempts to dissuade his victims from testifying. While Jackson's trial centered on the testimony of 3 victims, they do not represent all the minors that the defendant exploited, according to Smith's memorandum. The government discovered 3 more victims who were afraid to participate in the criminal proceedings, given the community backlash that the girls who did speak out endured, she said. According to federal sentencing guidelines, production of child pornography carries a sentence of 15 to 30 years. Transportation of a minor, 10 years to life. First-degree rape, 10 to 30 years, and aggravated rape in the second degree, a sentence of 10 years to life. In calling for a 30 to 40-year sentence and for Jackson to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life, Smith said the court needs to send a message to the community and to others who might commit such crimes. Thanks for joining us so far. When we come back, we'll hear more about a traffic incident reported on St. John, a subpoena issued for VI fuel retailers to ensure prices at the pump are even more even across the board, and the certification of the 2022 primary election. Emergency crews on St. John rushed to the scene of a single vehicle accident early Thursday morning, where, according to the Virgin Islands Police Department and VI Fire and Emergency Medical Service, responders found a driver pinned under his overturned water truck. According to Police Department Communications Director Glenn Dratt, the incident was reported around 7:28 a.m. near the section of Route 104 known as Jacob's Ladder. Rescue crews from the fire service were joined by volunteers from St. John Rescue and police who worked together to free the driver using heavy equipment. The truck overturned and pinned the operator, with Dratt saying that the initial account of the accident pointed to an apparent failure to engage the truck's handbrake while traveling down a steep hill. The truck operator was described as a 60-year-old male. Photos taken by residents who converged on the scene showed the water tank was separated from the truck chassis and the top of the cab was crushed. Once he was freed, authorities said the driver was transported by ambulance boat to Schneider Regional Medical Center for treatment. The Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs recently served all VI fuel retailers with a subpoena requesting copies of certain documents to provide a clearer picture on the great disparity of prices between the District of St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. According to a release from the department, Licensing and Consumer Affairs wants to ensure that consumers receive the fairest price possible at the pump, and in a news release, Commissioner Richard Evangelista urged residents to make the information useful by providing a financially sound decision. As of August 14th, the wholesale prices on St. Croix are as follows: $3.15 per gallon for regular, $3.38 per gallon for premium, and $3.75 per gallon for diesel. These rates include the USVI fuel tax but not the delivery fees. On St. Thomas and St. John, retailers continue to purchase fuel from Puerto Rico, where the wholesale prices continue to fall, but not as quickly as the wholesale prices on St. Croix. As of August 17th, the average wholesale price in Puerto Rico for regular fuel is about $3.52 per gallon, for premium fuel $4.14 per gallon, and for diesel fuel $4.16 per gallon. Not included in the prices are the VI fuel tax and delivery fees. As of August 17th, the average cost of fuel on all three islands dropped. On St. Croix, the cost of fuel was $4.36 for regular, down 5 cents per gallon, $4.93 for premium, down 9 cents per gallon, and $5.02 for diesel, down 9 cents per gallon. On St. Thomas, as of August 17th, the average cost of fuel was $5.53 for regular, down 11 cents per gallon, $5.86 for premium, down 14 cents per gallon, and $6.13 for diesel, down 9 cents per gallon. On St. John, the cost of fuel was $5.93 for regular, down 10 cents per gallon, $6.33 for premium, and $7.26 for diesel, down 12 cents per gallon. This week, the Board of Elections concluded the counting of the 2022 Democratic primary election absentee ballots in both districts, giving the winners the chance to officially advance the general election in November to compete against other party candidates and independents. Based on the final numbers, there were no changes to the winners. For the governor's race, incumbent Governor Albert Bryan Jr. and Lieutenant Governor Tregenza Roach won with 4,269 votes and 65%. Ken Bernier and Oakland Benta got 34% with 2,255 votes. A total of 6,564 votes were cast in that race. For the at-large seat in the legislature reserved for a St. John resident, incumbent Angel Bolquez, who recently took the seat after Stephen Payne was removed by his fellow senators amid allegations of misconduct, won in a landslide with 77% and 3,777 votes to Payne's 22% and 1,067 votes. The 7 Democrats who landed ballot slots for the St. Croix legislative seats in the general election are Senator Kenneth Gittins, Senator Novell E. Francis Jr., Maurice C. James, Diane T. Capehart, Nemi Williams Jackson, and Senator Javon E. James, and Senator Genevieve Whitaker. On St. Thomas, St. John, Senate winners were Senator Donna Fred Gregory, Senator Milton E. Potter, Senator Carla Joseph, Senator Marvin A. Blyden, Joel S. Brown Connors, Lawrence Busholta, and Ray Fonseca. Heading into the general elections, elections officials told senators this week that they are preparing for a runoff and are budgeting an extra $350,000 just in case. During a budget hearing this week before the Senate's Finance Committee, Election Supervisor Carolyn Fox explained that VI law requires the winning candidate receive more than 50% of the overall votes in the general election, which can become difficult when there are several candidates splitting the overall vote into smaller percentages. While this year's election field isn't crowded, the 4 gubernatorial teams, incumbents Bryant and Lieutenant Governor Tregenza Roach, Senator Kurt Viale and running mate Senator Janelle Sarro, Ronald Pickard and running mate Elroy Turnbull, and Stephen Smokey Fret and running mate Gregory Miller Jr. could split the vote to the point where no one team meets the 50% threshold, Fox said. The election system is requesting an overall budget of $2.73 million, an increase of $278,968 over the recommended budget of $2.45 million. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got some good news to share. The second cement pour at the Cyril E. King Airport Parking and Transportation Center, the demolition of Evelyn Williams Elementary on St. Croix, and some big news in the world of archery. While VI Port Authority officials said they were excited to celebrate the second major concrete pour at the Parking and Transportation Center at Cyril E. King Airport on St. Thomas, enough to cover about 20% of the second floor deck, what they spoke about more is the impact the project has had on the community and how it fits into a bigger vision of economic development across the territory. At a press conference held on site Tuesday night, VIPA Executive Director Carlton Dow said the center, which has been put on an accelerated construction schedule, is expected to be finished in the summer of 2023. Financed by a $20 million grant from the U.S. Economic Development Administration and $6.8 million in local funds, Dow said it is expected to add 561 parking spaces at SECA, including floors and amenities that are American with Disabilities Act ADA compliant, and sustainable features such as charging stations for electric cars, which were not initially factored into the plans. In contrast with 171 spaces, VIPA's recently built parking structure at the Red Hook Ferry Terminal brings in about $140,000 a month, which means, Dow said, that in a 6-year window, VIPA would have already taken in what we paid out to build it. The math was one of the driving forces behind making a similar investment at SECA, which Dow said is even busier. The bigger picture, though, Dow added, is that the project has given some of the port's younger engineers the chance to learn under more experienced professionals, including VIPA Chief Engineer Dale Gregory, and shoulder additional responsibility. Speaking Tuesday, Governor Albert Bryan Jr. added that the structure also falls in line with a bigger vision to improve the territory's infrastructure, which in turn enhances the daily experience for residents and tourism experience for visitors to spur additional economic growth. The demolition of Evelyn M. Williams Elementary on St. Croix, beginning Monday, will be followed immediately by construction of the first new school in 27 years, the contractor and government officials said at a VIA Education Department press conference Wednesday. The demolition shall last for about 4 months, and the new school could be completed in 2 years, they said. Education Commissioner nominee Dion Wells Hendrington, who is currently also Chief Operations Officer at the department, said she had been involved in the project since the beginning and watched plans evolve for the building and communicated with the community about the project. Williams is the first school to be replaced since the 2017 hurricanes and after years of structural problems. The new facility east of Frederiksted will house pre-K through 8th grade students from the condemned Arthur A. Richards School, also east of Frederiksted. Richards was located in a tsunami zone according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which would not approve reconstruction at that location. Williams Elementary was closed in 2015 along with the Elena Christian Junior High due to long-standing environmental and structural issues. Construction and Engineering LLC and 4-Star Construction have submitted proposals to conduct demolition of CKCI. No one has been selected yet. Okay, sports fans, it was really an exciting week in the world of archery as the VI's Nicholas D'Amour was announced as the new U.S. Open champion. In a 3-day event starting with a double 72 on August 11th and 12th, D'Amour set a personal best and a Virgin Islands national record of 13:48. At the end of 2 days, Nicholas finished first, with America's best archer, Brady Ellison, finishing second. Nicholas and Brady were tied at 13:48. However, with a higher number of 10s, D'Amour was declared the winner and #1 seed for the United States Open. This gold medal for Diamore is his third USAT podium against the best in the United States. He won a silver medal last month at the Buckeye Classic. He also won a bronze medal at the Gator Cup in 2020. This is his first third USAT podium in as many tries. As a sport, archery is growing quickly in the Virgin Islands, and in 2021, for the first time in its history, the territory fielded an archer in the Olympics. The Virgin Islands Archery Federation has said it wants to continue to grow the sport and invites the residents of the territory to experience the joys and challenges of archery under the supervision of the VIAF's coaches, Tatiana Montian and Mike Gerard. Both are championship archers who are excited to teach this wonderful sport to anyone interested. For more information, visit the Virgin Islands Archery Federation on Facebook. Remember to look for the latest news online at the Virgin Islands Source, and while you're there, be sure to sign up for our daily newsletter. All the headlines in your inbox for free. It can't get better than that. Now, as we said along with the news, our correspondent Nima Willett stopped in at Crown Bay this week to visit Tropical Bliss spa owner Emeka Willis for a tour of her new digs, and also get the scoop on some high-end beauty tips.
Welcome everyone. We are here today with spa owner Emeka Willis, who has recently opened a location in St. Thomas Crown Bay Center. She already has a successful location in Atlanta, Georgia, and has been in the beauty industry for 17 years. So come along with us while we walk around and see what she has to offer. Hi Emeka, how are you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having us today.
No problem.
So can you tell me a little bit about yourself, like where are you from and how has it been expanding your business?
Okay, I'm from here, the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. I went to Charlotte Amalia High School. I'm a 1995 graduate from Charlotte Amalia. And then I went to mortuary school. I'm also a licensed mortician, but I don't practice it anymore. And then, yeah, basically I'm from St. Thomas.
Great, okay. So how did you get your start in the beauty industry?
So my start in the beauty industry started at MAC Cosmetics as a part-time makeup artist. After, seeing my work ethics, my manager offered me a third key. Basically, a third key position is where you're assistant to the assistant. I stayed in that role for about a year, and then I went to an assistant manager at a brand new store. It was me and my manager, both of us was new in our roles. And because they saw the growth of how we was managing as far as staff and sales, they moved him to a bigger volume store, and then I became the store manager. So I was in my assistant role for 4 months, and then I became store manager with MAC Cosmetics, and that kind of basically opened the doors for me meeting people so I can start working on movie sets and working on commercials. I did some work with AT&T with their commercials. So basically MAC was the foundation for me getting into the artistry field.
Wow, okay. And also, so I know you already have a successful location in Atlanta, Georgia. So why did you decide to move your location to the Virgin Islands? And what do you want to accomplish with having a spa in the Virgin Islands?
Okay, so my dad was running for Senate in 2008, and I started coming here around that time, and I was just doing lashes out of a friend's shop. Her name is Kim Smith. So Kim allowed me to come down here to do lashes in her shop. So basically, working in her shop, I would take vacation from MAC and come here about twice a year. So the clientele kept building and building and building. And while I'm doing someone's lashes in the Virgin Islands, I'm noticing there's a lot of things going on with the skin. So that's when I honed in and was like, okay, there's no education on skin down here.
Right.
Only hair, nails, and lashes. So my thing is, your skin is the biggest organ, is the only organ you can touch. Why not take care of it? Right. You can't touch your heart, you can't touch your liver, but you can definitely touch the skin. So that's when I started implementing facials. And then I started working with a young lady by the name of Cheryl Williams in her spa. She rented me a room, and I started building clientele and building clientele. But you know, St. Thomas people like to be in thing. So they saw all the services I was offering in Atlanta, and it was like, Emeka, you need to open up down here. You need to open up down here. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna open up down here just for y'all, but y'all gotta keep coming, because I have rent to pay now. You know,
Exactly.
So that's how Tropical Bliss Spa St. Thomas came along, because my clients really wanted it, and I was like, why not give it to my own locals? You know.
Wow, okay. And have you experienced any obstacles or any trials and tribulations while expanding and opening up in new locations?
Listen, trials and tribulations. Listen, I cried every night working on this venture right here. My biggest speed bump, I would say, because I used all my savings to start it, but I budgeted myself for a certain amount of money. And as far as like, because my spa in Atlanta was already built out, so I wasn't thinking, you know, build out costs.
Gotcha.
So getting finance here was so difficult compared to getting finance from a bank in the States, well, Navy Federal. I applied and got approved in 3 days.
Wow.
It took me 9 months
Wow.
down here to get finance. So that was my biggest obstacle.
Okay. And also, I know you have other locations. Can you, you're opening up other spots in other locations. Can you tell me some of those locations?
Well, I'm really trying to hone in on the Caribbean instead of opening more locations in the States. So I would love to do something in St. Croix, and I would love to do something in Antigua. That's where my mom is from.
Okay.
So right now I'm trying to work on a deal in Antigua and trying to work on something with St. Croix.
Okay.
Yes.
And can you tell me some of the services your spa has to offer?
So right now we offer facials, an arrangement of facials, because again, everyone don't have the same problem that's going on with their skin. So we offer arrangement of facials. We do massages. We have a deep tissue, a CBD for people who have chronic pain, and we have a Swedish massage. We also have body treatments. We have a seaweed wrap. We have a body scrub. So that's basically the exfoliating of the entire body. And we have a mud bath as well.
Wow.
We have a sauna. Our sauna have 16 options that treats 16 different issues you may have going on in your with your body. And then we have a shower. You could definitely, before your massage, you can take a shower so you could be relaxed when you get home. You don't have to go and take a shower and wash off all the oil. So we have an overhead rainfall shower. And then, so basically that's it for right now. We're going to implement more stuff, but as the business grows, we're going to implement more services.
Okay, thank you so much. And can you take us around on a little tour of the spa?
I would love to.
Okay, great.
Okay, guys, I will take you on a tour of the Tropical Bliss Spa St. Thomas version. Right here we have our receptionist area. This is where you guys will check in. Our desk was locally made by a guy from St. Thomas. Well, he lives on St. Thomas, so if you guys want his information, hit me up. All of our rooms are named after each island. Our first room is the St. Thomas room. So basically, you can get facials and massages done in the St. Thomas room. This if you come in by yourself. This is the room you'll be in. Our next room is the St. John room. In our St. John room, there's extra services that is rendered in here. The added services are waxing. We do offer Brazilian waxing. Any part of the body that can be waxed, we can wax it in the St. John room. Facials, massage, and we're also going to start laser hair removal. So laser hair removal will be as well done in the St. John room. Now, part 2 of our spa. So over here is where we have our sauna. This is our sauna. It's new technology. No steam is let off in this spa, in this sauna, I'm sorry. But it treats up to 16 different issues you may have going on with the body. So for instance, when you see the red light, that's where you sweat more because that targets metabolism and burning of the fat. The blue light is more of a calming effect. If you're having any stressful factors, you can come and sit in the blue light, and the blue light helps with stress relief. 3, you guys can sit in here. It has Bluetooth capability, so you can Bluetooth your music, your Apple Music or your Samsung to the sauna and play whatever music you want to play. One of my favorite rooms is the St. Croix room because it caters to couples. It's the biggest room that we have in the spa. So husband and wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, girls' day. You and your girlfriend want to come and have a spa day. You guys will be here. This is our waiting area. We do offer a Bliss Burger, which we partnered with Speedy Redemption, which is a vegetarian restaurant. You guys can sit here while we offer you our signature mimosa that we do offer as well when you come into the spa. Again, this is the St. Croix room, is the biggest room, so why not? Our next room, well, it's our shower. Like I said earlier, before your massage, we offer a shower. Before you're Brazilian, if you want to take a shower because you're not comfortable, you could take a shower in our rainfall shower head. Also has healing therapies that comes out. There's a light, a blue infrared light that turns on that gives you a calming effect while you're taking your shower. Also, you'll take a shower after any body treatments that we offer. And then my favorite element of surprise is our restroom. Everybody loves this room. Feels like you're in the jungle. So the reason why you're seeing Listerine on the counter, I have a doctor that's a client of mine in Atlanta. He's an Emory doctor, and he told me, have the clients gargle with Listerine because it helps fight COVID. Because again, my staff and myself is over you, and it's easy to catch it that way. So our practices is when you come into the spa, you're given a brand new pair of socks that you keep because there's no shoes allowed in the spa. You come straight to the restroom, you wash your hands, use the toilet if you have to, and then you gargle with your Listerine. So that's our practices that we implement at Tropical Bliss Spa. And then you have the peace wall. We have our frog, our yoga frog. Then we have our earth gems that give off positive energy. We have our fragrances that also relieve stress. So I tell my staff, if they're having a bad day, just come back by the wall and do a little woosah. So guys, that's the tour of Tropical Bliss Spa, St. Thomas.
Thank you so much, Emeka, for that wonderful tour. And also, since you are an expert, can you give us your best 2 tips on any kind of beauty or cosmetics?
Okay, so as far in the skincare industry, I will say definitely you want to exfoliate at least 3 times a week to keep that dead skin off. As far as the beauty industry, ladies, a red lip will always make you look like you're polished. Even if you have your hair back in a ponytail, a basic red lip, and my favorite red lip is Ruby Woo by MAC, paired with cherry pencil. So a red lip, hair up in a bun, your foundation, and you'll definitely look polished.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting us come here and interview you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers, for joining us this Sunday. We can't wait to catch up with you here next week. Until then, stay safe and stay informed. The Source is online all the time. Keep visiting our sites for around-the-clock community coverage and tune in on social for updates at the top of each hour. I'm your host, Adisha Penn. Until next time.